don't mind Iran having ballistic missiles. Can you elaborate on that? I want to make sure we understand your position.
No, I'm saying that if other countries have them, it's a little bit unfair for them not to have some. A ballistic missile is not the same thing as what we're talking about when we talk nuclear.
Trump claims Iran is down to just a few missiles. But is the reality really that limited, or is there still more capability left than he's suggesting? Even after heavy strikes, Iran is still believed to retain a functioning missile capability, despite claims of massive destruction. Can a program be truly defeated if parts of it are still operational and able to recover? And in a tense region, is Iran's missile program less about aggression and more about survival and deterrence? US President Donald Trump defended his decision to allow Iran to retain part of its ballistic missile arsenal. He said the United States is not aiming to remove every missile from Iran's military stockpile. Trump stated that Iran will keep some missiles, despite ongoing US concerns about its military program. He added that discussions around Iran's capabilities are still ongoing. He also claimed that Iran has fewer missiles compared to other countries. Trump further said that about 84 to 85% of its missile capability has already been knocked out. He said the remaining missiles are likely stored underground. According to him, this makes them difficult for Iran to access or use quickly.
You said you don't mind Iran having ballistic missiles. Can you elaborate on that? I want to make sure we understand your position.
No, I'm saying that if other countries have them, it's a little bit unfair for them not to have some. A ballistic missile is not the same thing as what we're talking about when we talk nuclear. But if Saudi Arabia and Qatar and they all have some, I would say in relative proportion, I think it's okay. That's what I mean.
One of the goals of Epic Fury, you said going into it, was to destroy Iran's ballistic missiles and its capabilities to build more.
Yeah.
Why is it acceptable to you now that they keep some of that capability? And Iran is...
What are they keeping? What are they keeping? They have less than other nations now. We knocked out probably 84, 85% of their missiles. The rest of them are underground. They can't even get them out. You know, the other night's raid, I think it was on the first night, we knocked out hundreds of their missiles. Actually, by mistake, we were hitting an area, and you can sort of see when the bombs are going off, and then you see one that looks like, wow, what happened? A lot of missiles knocked out. No, but what are you going to do? Let's spend another 2 weeks and give them none. They don't want to be firing missiles right now. They're going to have a hard time rebuilding.
Earlier, War Secretary Pete Hegseth said that Iran's missile production has been functionally defeated, suggesting that its ability to build new missiles has been severely weakened. Hegseth said that Iranian missile factories and companies were destroyed during US and Israeli strikes, calling it a significant blow to Iran's military production network. Intelligence reports, however, say that Iran may still hold around 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile, indicating that a large portion of its arsenal remains intact. The stockpile is reported to include both ballistic and cruise missiles, which are still functional or can be relocated to different sites. Iran has also made its stance clear on its missile program, stating that it is non-negotiable in any diplomatic discussions. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghai said that missiles are only for firing and not for negotiation, reinforcing Iran's position on the issue. The US military is reportedly preparing to withdraw around 20% of its refueling aircraft from Israel. The reported move follows recent diplomatic developments between Washington and Tehran. Israeli media reported that the drawdown comes after a truce agreement was reached between the US and Iran. Officials have not publicly linked the redeployment to any specific military decision. Reports suggest a US-Iran memorandum of understanding created a framework aimed at ending hostilities. The agreement is said to focus on reducing tensions between the two countries. Israeli Transport Minister Miri Regev said the US had deployed 72 refueling aircraft at Ben Gurion Airport. The aircraft were positioned there during heightened regional tensions. According to Channel 12, it remains unclear whether the aircraft will leave Israel entirely or be moved elsewhere. No official details on their final destination have been released. U.S. refueling aircraft reportedly occupied nearly half of the available parking area at Ben Gurion Airport. The deployment highlighted the scale of the American military presence during the crisis.
We had a great relationship. We're talking about some end details. I didn't like that he
did an attack based on there was a very minor little thing with some drones that were released, and he ends up doing I saw that attack. I saw where that bomb went. Did you see what happened? That was a vicious, that was too much. You can do too much also. But we've had a very effective relationship. Without us, without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel, because no other president was willing to do what I did. I've had a great relationship with Bibi, but now Bibi has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be a great country. It was a country where you had professors, doctors, lawyers. The great intellect was in Lebanon. Now it's terrible. I would say of all countries, they've been treated the worst. And they can't defend themselves. And they have Hezbollah, which is a problem for them. So, no, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. They should have been able to do the job faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran. So when you ask me about Bibi, an unbelievable relationship. But Israel would have been blown up a long time ago had I not gotten involved.
A U.S.-Iran peace accord is reportedly expected to be formally signed in Switzerland on June 19th. Reports claim the White House rejected an Israeli request to review the U.S.-Iran memorandum. The reports suggest differences remain between Washington and Jerusalem over the agreement. Israeli media reported that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was not fully informed of the memorandum's contents. The claim has become a subject of political debate in Israel. Reports also suggested the Trump administration did not share the full text of the agreement with Israel before signing. Neither side has publicly released documentation confirming the claim. The White House has disputed reports that Israel was completely excluded from the negotiation process. Officials say consultations with Israeli counterparts took place during discussions. Netanyahu reportedly reprimanded al-Zami over letter disclosing details of a halted Iran strike. The letter reportedly revealed that the strike was called off just an hour before jets were due to depart. Netanyahu also reportedly criticized Air Force Commander Omer Tishler for including that detail in the letter. According to reports, Netanyahu said the information should never have been written in the document. Israeli Prime Minister reportedly described the disclosure as a national error. Netanyahu is also said to have argued that the revelation harmed unity and caused embarrassment in front of Trump. The dispute reportedly played out during a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, according to Iran International. The letter was said to have disclosed sensitive timing details about the halted strike on Iran. Netanyahu reportedly objected to the public disclosure of details tied to the aborted operation. The Israeli Air Force chief publicly confirmed that a major, carefully planned strike on Iran, scheduled for last week, was abruptly called off before it could be carried out. Major General Omer Tishler said the Air Force had spent weeks preparing for a massive operation slated for June 8th, with detailed planning and assets positioned for execution. Tishler revealed the unexpected cancellation in a message he sent to troops on Tuesday, according to the Times of Israel, acknowledging the decision and its impact on personnel. Despite the broader operation being called off, Israel carried out a series of limited retaliatory strikes against selected Iranian targets prior to halting the larger mission. Those limited strikes followed an escalation in which Iran launched ballistic missiles toward Israeli-controlled territory, prompting a measured military response.